Greetings. So I think the title sums this one up pretty well, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Last year, I took a trip to Ireland with my aunt. I've said before that I like trips where the action starts early, and let me tell you, Ireland was no exception. See, my aunt knows Ireland like the back of her hand. She's lived there for a good chunk of her life, and she visits very frequently. So we decided early on that we were going to rent a car when we got there. We could save time and money bypassing public transportation. And I mean, my aunt knew the area and she'd driven there before, so we figured it'd be a great idea. And I totally agreed until we arrived and I saw the car that we would be driving. See, I knew the passenger seat and the driver's seat were going to be reversed. I expected that. It was Europe, I know. The cars are built differently. The problem with our car was the fact that it was a standard. And a very poorly designed one at that. Among other things, it was the first gear and reverse gear were parallel to one another, like straight up like this. I guess the guy who built it really got a kick out of those old internet videos where the people smash through their garage thinking the car's in reverse. Another problem with our car being standard was the fact that I knew my aunt hadn't driven one in a very long time. So on top of everything being reversed, she was going to have to relearn how to drive manually. It sounds like an even worse idea than it did at the time. So after we pull out of the sardine-like parking lot where our car was stationed, we came up to this 4-lane highway that would eventually take us to Tipperary County, our home base. So my aunt pulls out to the middle of the highway, presumably to cross the other side. At least that's what I thought. To my surprise, she turns right, into oncoming traffic. A 4-letter word escapes her lips as she slams on the brakes. Meanwhile, I strike a perfect Spider-Man pose. I don't know why exactly. I guess I thought if I held on tight enough, death wouldn't be able to take me. Like, no, you can't have me, I'm not ready. Okay, and remember how I told you guys that that the car was questionably designed? Well, this is where that design really came back to bite us both in the butt. See, at this point there was a line of cars, all backed up, probably full of locals laughing hysterically at us. At least that's what I would assume. My aunt, attempting to put the car in reverse, actually throws it in first again, so we lurch towards the line of cars. She then panics and takes her foot off of the clutch. This causes the car to start lurching, so it looks like we are headbanging as we're getting closer to this line of cars. She slams on the brakes again, finally puts the car in reverse, backs us up, and we head off on the road that I thought we were going to take to begin with, like the road that's like goes across the highway. We were both stunned and panicked, so we didn't say anything for a while. And then after about 10 minutes, she just nonchalantly looks over at me and goes, "I couldn't find reverse." And I was I was so done at that point. I look at her straight up and I'm like, really? So moral of the story, guys, if you ever go to Europe, I suggest just taking the bus. We Americans are not built to drive on European roads. Thank you all so much for watching. Viva la pura vida. Like and subscribe.